Okay, so this is a recorded video for module number 3 for auditing and assurance principles. So ngayon, ang pag-uusapan natin is Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants. Okay, so your Code of Ethics is for accountants is divided into 3. Part A is for the general application. So this is applicable for all certified public accountants. For Part B, this is applicable for those working in the public practice, such as your auditors. And then for your Part C, this is for those working in the business or those under in commerce and industry. Okay. So part 1, general application. Okay. So under your general application, we have we have 5 fundamental principles. First is integrity. So ito daw po yung mga dapat sundin ng mga accountants. Okay. First is integrity. So when we say integrity, it means that um, the accountant shall not be associated with reports that are materially false. Okay? So hindi tayo nandadaya ng mga financial statements. Okay? Next is objectivity. When you say objectivity, we should avoid bias. Okay? We should avoid conflict of interest, undue influence. Okay? So we should be independent. Okay? So next is yung professional competence and due care. When we say professional competence and due care, it imposes that the accountant should have the proper knowledge and skills to ensure na yung madideliver nila yung services doon sa kanilang clients. And when you say due care naman, is that we should because we handle information about our clients, okay? So pag sinabi nating due care, it means yung diligence natin, okay? Diligence as to the performance of our assignments, diligence as to keeping in confidential information between you and the client, okay? Next is confidentiality. So, confidentiality, it is actually discussed din kanina sa due care, magka-relate din kasi yan, is again, we handle confidential information about the client. Okay, so we should know when to disclose confidential information about our client. So are three um, there are 3 requirements bago tayo makapag-disclose ng information sa ating about our client. So number 1, that dapat is authorized po yun ng client. Number 2, it is required by law. And number 3 is that we have the duty or right to disclose. Next, pag professional behavior naman ang pinag-uusapan natin is that yung ginagawa nating service must be compliant with the relevant laws and regulation. Okay? Next, conceptual framework approach. So, conceptual framework, again, natutunan nyo na to sa financial conceptual framework rather. Okay. So, anong sinasabi ng conceptual framework? So, kapag walang standards na applicable, we use the conceptual framework, right? Okay. So, ganun din po dito sa Code of Ethics. So, the conceptual framework approach is that, number 1, we have to identify threats to compliance with fundamental principles to evaluate the significance of the identified threats, and number 3, applied safeguards as necessary to eliminate or reduce the threats to an acceptable level. Okay. Again, hindi lahat kasi ng actions ng accountants is covered by a standard. Okay? So, with the conceptual framework approach, which is itong 3 steps na to, we will be able to know kung ano ba yung dapat gawin if we are faced with a specific situation. Okay. Next, threats to compliance with fundamental principles. Oops, sobra. So we have 5 threats to fundamental principles. Repeat lang natin yung fundamental principles. Ano-ano ba yon? Number 1 is integrity. 2 is objectivity. 3 is professional competence and due care. 4, confidentiality. And 5, professional behavior. Okay, so ito naman yung threats against doon sa mga fundamental principles na nabanggit natin. So, self-interest threat. So, anong nangyayari? Anong meron kapag may self-interest threat tayo? Okay. So, for instance, this occurs when there is a financial, personal, or other interest that influences the professional accountant's behavior. Say, for instance, meron kang utang sa isa sa mga officers nung ino-audit mong firm, okay? That is considered as self-interest threat. Or for instance, yung company na yan na ino-audit mo is one of your biggest company na hinahandle or client. So if in case bibigyan mo yan ng pangit na review or pangit na opinion, possible na hindi ka na yan kukunin next year na auditor. So ngayon, naka-invest ka na parang in some ways you are not being objective na bibigyan mo siya ng pangit na review. So parang ayun, merong interest threat doon. Okay? Next is yung self-review threat. So nangyayari ang self-review threat when the accountants fails to properly review their past work. So for example, si company A is your auditee right now. But in your prior work, si company A ay dati mong employer. Okay? Ikaw yung accountant dati ni company A. So, ano nangyayari sa self-review threat? Parang ang nangyayari would be, i-review mo yung financial statements na parang na dati kang naging part of. Okay? So, parang you're reviewing your own work. And syempre naman, sasabihin mo ba na mali yung pin-repair mo? So, that is an example of a self-review threat. Okay? Or for example, yung financial statements is galing sa accounting system na ikaw yung nagsabi na okay gamitin. Okay? And then apparently, hindi pala okay yung accounting system na yun based on your audit, external audit ng financial statements mo. So, merong self-review threat doon kasi sasabihin, ang mangyayari would be, parang i-discredit mo yung sarili mong gawa, 'di ba? So, that is an example of your self-review threat. Next is yung advocacy threat. So, advocacy is that the accountant is promoting the client or the employer's company. Okay? For example, ikaw ay supporter ng kanilang produkto. Okay? Kahit na may nakita ka sa financial statements nila na mali, since supporter ka at supporter ka kanilang produkto, ayun, hindi mo sasabihin sa public na may mali sa financial statements nila. Okay? Or for instance, ikaw ay bumibili ka ng stock sa kanila at lagi mong pinopromote yung company na yan. Okay? So, magkakaroon ka ng advocacy threat. And then number 4 is familiarity threat. So, pag familiarity threat, ang focus po nito ay long or close relationship. So, pwedeng a family member mo, sila yung leader or executives ng company na ino-audit mo or you are transacting with. Or, tumatanggap ka ng gifts na pwede namang tumanggap ng gifts as long as trivial lang or maliit lang yung halaga. Pero kunwari, familiarity interest threat is that kapalit ng pag-audit mo sa company or parang sabihin pasasalamat sa pag-audit mo sa isang company is bibigyan ka ng isang kotse. Familiarity threat yun kasi nag-accept ka ng gifts, di ba? Okay. Next is intimidation threat. So, intimidation threat is when the accountant feels pressured in performing their task. Okay? Merong pressure or yung tinatawag nating undue influence. Like for example, kapag actually pwede rin yung intimidation at saka yung self-interest. Like for example, ayun nga, yung company na ino-audit mo is isa sa mga pinakamalalaki mong client and then pinipressure ka ng company na kapag hindi mo sila binigyan ng unqualified opinion, is tatanggalin ka na nila as auditor. Okay? That's intimidation. Okay? Next, we now proceed to the different safeguards para maiwasan itong threats na to. Okay? So we have two types of threats. Two types of safeguards, which is number one, yung safeguards created by profession, legislation, or regulation. So anong kasama dito? Kasama dito is yung mga CPD programs natin like Continuous Professional Development. So kapag meron kang proper skills at alam mo kung ano yung mga dapat gawin as an accountant, you are safeguarded against these threats na na-discuss natin. And yung safeguards in the work environment naman, say for instance, you are working as an auditor. Okay? So, ang safeguards in the work environment is that yung mga policies and procedures na in place doon sa auditing firm kung saan ka nag-work. Or pwede din, kunwari, meron silang policy wherein hindi ka pwedeng umulit ng client para maiwasan yung familiarity threat ba. Okay? So, example yun ng mga safeguards sa workplace. Okay? Next, punta naman tayo sa part B, which is ang focus naman natin dito are those working in the public practice, specifically auditors. Okay. So, meron tayong client acceptance, engagement acceptance, at saka changes in professional appointment. So, anong nangyayari sa client acceptance? Okay. As an auditor, hindi agad-agad yan, tatanggapin mo yung engagement. Okay? Audit engagement. Kailangan is magkaroon ka muna ng sufficient knowledge about your client's business. Okay? Ang tawag doon sa pag-gain ng sufficient knowledge is that walkthrough. Nag-walkthrough ka. Anong klase bang, nasa anong klase bang industry yung company na ino-audit mo? Sino-sino yung mga executive and top-level managers niyan. Okay? And then, pagdating naman sa engagement acceptance, ito na yung time na, balik tayo sa client acceptance. Isa sa mga kailangan mo rin ma-determine bago mo i-accept yung client is that whether you have the independence. Okay? Kasi yung independence, isa yan sa mga kailangan nating i-check before natin i-accept yung client because you cannot proceed with the engagement kung wala kang independence, right? Okay. Next is yung engagement acceptance. When you say engagement of acceptance, this one naman is we should only accept engagement that we have assessed na kaya natin. Okay? So, it is a test of whether you have the professional competence and due care. Okay? And then next is yung changes in professional appointment. So, when placing another accountant or tendering on an ongoing engagement, accountants must determine if they are ethical or professional reasons to accept the role. For example, ikaw ay dating external auditor ng company A. And then this current engagement, ikaw naman ay magiging accountant niya. Okay? So, kailangan humingi muna ng permission doon sa auditing firm bago mo tanggapin yung ino-offer na trabaho ni company A. Okay? Or pwede din namang papasok din dito sa kunwari merong prior auditor si company A and then ikaw na yung papasok na auditor ni company A. Okay? So to respect or parang pasintabi doon sa outgoing na auditor, tatanungin mo yung auditor na yon kung ano ba yung mga kailangan mong bantayan when it comes to the new engagement. Okay? Next, conflicts of interest. So when you say conflicts of interest, a professional accountant in public practice shall take reasonable steps to identify circumstances that could pose as conflict of interest. So gaya nga ng nabanggit ko sa inyo kanina, dapat kasi meron kang independence. Okay? Okay. Nasa na tayo? Balik muna tayo. Sandali. Oops. Okay. So, conflicts of interest. Okay. So, example ng conflicts of interest, competing interest. Okay. So, this may arise when the professional accountants competes directly with the client. Or, for example, ang sideline mo ay ikaw ay executive sa isang company that is directly kalaban nung company na ino-audit mo. So, that's competing interest. Pag conflicting clients naman, for example, ikaw ang naka-assign na auditor ni Jollibee, at the same time, ikaw din ang naka-assign na auditor ni KFC. So, conflicting yung client. So, may possibility kasi na maging issue yun pagdating sa client. Baka kasi syempre, you are holding a lot of information. Okay, so you have to notify your client. Okay? And then, we also have yung, ano pa ba? Ayun. So, para maiwasan natin yung conflict of interest, the only step that you should do is to always inform yung client. Okay? Next, punta tayo sa second opinion. When you say second opinion, a professional accountant in public practice may be asked to provide a second opinion on accounting, auditing, reporting, or other standards for a non-client. Okay. So this may pose threats to fundamental principles, particularly professional competence. So again, pwedeng may colleague kayo or friend ninyo na hingaan kayo ng second opinion. But again, you have to remember kung um, ano ba yung assurance level na binibigay ninyo sa inyong client. Kasi ang public practice kasi based on evidence yan, right? Eh kapag second opinion, hindi naman mabusisi yung ginawa mong trabaho kasi tinignan mo lang siya based on the evidence presented sa iyo. Hindi ka nag-testing, hindi ka nag-analytic substantive procedures and such, okay? Next, punta tayo sa fees and other remuneration. Okay, so professional fees. Um, ito yung, pag sinabi nating professional fees, okay, ito yung basic na nare-receive ng mga auditors natin. So, hindi pwedeng masyadong mataas yung professional fees. Alam niyo kung bakit. Kasi pag masyadong mataas yung professional fees, ang nangyayari will be yung mahahamper eh. Kasi kapag alam ng auditor na ang laki ng binabayad sa amin dito, parang nakakatakot mawala, 'di ba? So again, remember your self-interest threats kanina. Okay? Okay. So, dapat meron kayong papel na pinirmahan kung ano ba yung cover doon sa fees. Okay, when you say contingent fees naman, these are fees calculated on a predetermined basis. So, for example, nagkaroon ng overtime pay yung mga auditors. So, sisingilin yan ng mga auditing firm doon sa client. Okay, pero again, para ma-ensure na hindi susobra yung contingent fees, dapat may written agreement at naka-disclose kung para saan yung contingent fees na yon. And then, for referral fees naman, referral fees or commission, like for example, ito yung ibabayad natin doon sa fellow accountant natin na naghanap ng client for us. Okay? So, kailangan din naka-disclose din po ito sa engagement ng auditor at saka ng client. Okay? Marketing professional fees. When a professional accountant in public practice seeks new work through advertising or other forms of marketing, there may be threats to compliance with fundamental principles. Like for example, ikaw ay nag-endorse ng isang company, okay? Tapos, sabi mo, mag-invest kayo dito. Maniwala kayo sa akin kasi accountant ako. Alam ko yung pinagsasabi mo. Okay? So, dapat, as an accountant, hindi po tayo gumagawa ng exaggerated claims about the services or of a particular company. At the same time, sa services na pinoprovide natin, bawal din po yung exaggerated. Hindi pwedeng mag-promote kayo na, kunwari, auditing services of Almazan Associates, ganyan, di ba? CPA firms, ganyan. Tapos ang nakalagay nyo agad doon ay no worries, we always provide unqualified opinion. So napaka-exage naman noon, 'di ba? Wala pang ang audit na nangyayari, unqualified na agad. Parang ina-assure mo na lahat na magpapa-audit sa'yo, bibigyan mo ng unqualified opinion. Okay, so very exaggerating. Okay? Next. Gifts and hospitality. So, bawal ba? Bawal ba kapag tatanggap tayo ng gifts or hospitality gestures? Okay? So, dapat i-assess ninyo kung yung gifts ba na yun ay too much. Okay? Kasi kapag nagtanggap ka ng gift that is too much, that will give rise to threats such as self-interest, familiarity, at saka ayun, intimidation threat kasi baka mamaya kapag binigyan mo sila ng pangit na opinion, yung financial statements nila, isumbat nila sa'yo yung mga gifts na pinagbibigay sa'yo, di ba? So, kung medyo maliit lang yung amount or yung value, kunwari binigyan ka lang ng kalendaryo o kaya ng ballpen, okay, pwede mong tanggapin yun kasi that won't affect your objectivity sa pag-audit ng financial statements. Okay? Pero pag medyo malaki na yung amount, like kunwari binibigyan ka ng trip to Palawan, ganyan, with your family or all expense paid, yun, dapat you have to refuse that one. Okay? Next, custody of client assets. So, as professional accountant, we shall not take custody of the client's money or other assets. Okay? Hindi pwede tayong mag-hold ng kanilang mga assets. Hindi tayo pwedeng mag-hold ng mga titulo ng kanilang mga lupa. Okay. And what else? Objectivity in all services. When you say objectivity, again, we should not be affected by any bias. Okay? Kailangan kung ano lang yung totoo at tama, yun lang po yung nire-report natin. Okay? So, ano mangyayari kapag nagkaroon tayo ng threats to objectivity? So, number one, we should withdraw from the engagement. Okay? Pag hindi ka na kasi objective, meron ng bias, hindi ka na independent. Okay? What else? I-ensure mo na yung procedures in place from withdrawing the engagement should be implemented. And then, you have to end yung business relationship mo with your client without causing a threat at saka discuss the issue with the senior manager within the firm or the client. Okay? Okay. Objectivity kasi is the cornerstone of ethical practice. Okay? Kasi kapag wala kang objectivity, okay, parang lagi na lang, kumbaga pag sinabi mo, kunwari, isipin nyo kung paano ba, ano yung objectivity, paano pinapractice yung objectivity. So, for instance, lahat kayo ay estudyante ko. If I am biased to one, hampered yung objectivity ko. Kahit na anong galing ninyong lahat, kung ang isa lang yung pinapaboran ko, unfair ako lagi. So, ganun din sa mga clients natin kapag later on naging auditors na kayo, hindi dapat na hamper yung objectivity ninyo. Again, you are protectors of the public funds. When I say public, no, not public funds kasi baka isipin niyo sa government. Yung mga ininvest ng mga tao which are the public is kayo yung promoprotected dito di ba? Kasi yun nga, nakadepende sila sa report na ipoprovide mo para makapag-decide sila whether or not to invest to certain companies. Okay? Next, let's talk about independence. Okay. So, accountants and their firms must always remain independent from the client. Kasi kung hindi ka independent sa client mo, hindi ka magiging objective. Hindi magiging fair yung audit mo. Okay. Meron tayong independence of the mind at saka independence in appearance. So for instance, independence of the mind, ibig sabihin, alam mo sa sarili mo na independent ka. Okay? Wala kang relationship doon sa client na ino-audit mo. Pero you should also practice independence in appearance. Like for example, hindi pwedeng makikita kayo ng CEO ng company na ino-audit mo na nagkakape. Kasi when you say appearance, kung ano yung nakikita sa inyo ng mga tao. Okay? That's independence in appearance. Kasi kapag kunwari nagkakape kayo, umattend kayo sa party, tapos lagi kayo magkausap, nasaan yung objectivity mo doon? Meron na kayong familiarity trait, right? Okay. Next, engagement period. So, ano nga ba itong engagement period? Engagement period starts when the audit team begins to perform audit services. And engagement period ends kapag meron na kayong opinion which is nandun sa audit report na ibibigay ninyo sa client. Okay? Okay, next. Nasaan na tayo? Independence. Okay. Independence, audit review, and engagement. Okay. Financial interest. When you say financial interest, the existence and significance of any threat depends on the role of the person holding the financial interest. Like for example, ino-audit mo si BPI. Okay? Tapos, ikaw as a business owner ng auditing firm, meron kang pinaprocess na loan from BPI. Okay? So, meron ditong financial interest kasi nga, ang nangyayari, waiting ka para ma-approve yung loan mo para sa business mo from BPI, which is your client. Number 2, whether the financial interest is direct or indirect. So, yung example natin, direct yun. Okay? Kasi meron kayong transaction talaga. Okay? Or pwede rin paano naman magiging indirect. Kunwari, yung wife mo, meron siyang business. Tapos, meron siyang ongoing or for processing na loan under doon sa client na binigay natin. Let's say for instance, BPI. So, indirectly, meron kang financial interest kasi kapag yung engagement mo with BPI, nalaman nila na meron ngang pinaprocess na loan yung wife mo, ayun, pwede kang ma-intimidate doon, di ba? And then, the materiality of the financial interest. So, example, ikaw ay stockholder ng Jollibee Food Corporation. Okay? Hindi porket stockholder ka ng Jollibee Food Corporation is you are disqualified to be an auditor ng Jollibee. Paano kapag ang stocks mo lang ay 10 lang, 'di ba? Masyadong maliit 'yon. So kailangan i-consider din natin yung materiality ng financial interest. However, mag-iibay naman 'yan kapag kunwari ikaw ay considered major stockholder ng Jollibee. Okay? Major stockholder ka ng Jollibee. Tapos ikaw din auditor, oh. So material yung financial interest doon. Okay? Next. Okay. So if the financial interest is direct at saka material, ano ba sinasabi nito? Dali nga. Okay. So whether or not you have to leave the engagement or hindi. Kapag direct at material, you have to leave the engagement. Kapag indirect and material, you have to leave the engagement. If direct and immaterial, you have to leave the engagement. But if it's indirect at saka immaterial, you can stay with the audit or the engagement. Okay. Next, ito, loans, na-discuss na rin natin to kanina. Close business relationship. So, a close business relationship may create self-interest or intimidation threat. Okay? Kasi lalo na kapag, kunwari, yung auditing firm na yan, na pinag-workan mo is matagal na nilang, kumbaga, merong nare-receive yung auditing firm na pinag-workan mo at saka yung client. So, there might be a self-interest or intimidation threat. Okay? O kaya yung boss ng auditing firm is financial advisor ng particular business. Okay? So, magkakaroon doon ng indirect financial interest. Okay? Next is yung family and personal relationship. Okay? So, kailan ba makukonsider na impaired yung independence? Number 1, if the director or officer of the audit client is kamag-anak nung isa sa mga member ng audit team. Okay? Pangalawa, an employee in a position is kamag-anak with ng isa sa mga audit team. Pero you have to take note, yung employee ng nandun sa audit team should have a significant influence sa management. Baka mamaya, ikaw ay auditor ni Jollibee tapos yung ate mo, store manager lang sa isang chain or sa isang store. Okay? sa isang particular branch, medyo hindi siya nakakaapekto sa significant influence kasi wala naman siyang control as to the management. Pero kapag ikaw ay auditor, tapos yung ate mo ay director ng Jollibee Food Corporation, ayun, talagang meron ng independence na impaired. Okay? Lumayo ka na sa engagement. Okay. Ano pa? Okay. Next, temporary staff assignments. Okay, so a lending of staff by a firm to an audit client may create a self-review threat. Like for example, mangyayari, ikaw si SGV, tapos si Jollibee, kailangan niya ng accounting manager. Magpapadala ka ngayon ng isa sa mga employee mo from SGB to Jollibee. So parang magkakaroon ng self-review threat doon kasi yung gumawa ng financial statements ni Jollibee galing SGB yun. Okay? Tapos ikaw ang magre-review or mag-audit nung ginawa nung staff mo, di ba? So, self-review threat yun. So, tatandaan nyo, pag self-review threat, you review your own work. Okay? Next, long association of senior personnel with an audit client. So, ang nangyayari po dito is ikaw po yung auditor lagi ng particular firm. So, nagkakaroon na ng familiarity at saka self-interest threat na to. Okay? So, dapat sa mga malalaking auditing firm, yung mga lead nila o yung audit team nila, napapalitan po yan once in every 5 years. Usually sa SGB, 2 years nga eh. Okay? Napapalitan kasi nga, iniiwasan yung familiarity, di ba? Next, provision of non-assurance services to an audit client. So there are again, meron tayong different engagement na provide sa isang client. Merong preparation of accounting services, pwedeng assessment ng internal control, pwedeng testing ng accounting system. Okay? So, syempre, non-assurance services, yan wala tayong opinion na dapat ibigay. Okay? Next, fees. Okay. So, again, napag-usapan natin kanina kapag fees is that relative yung size. Okay. So, dapat kung ano lang yung tinrabaho natin, matching lang doon yung fees na natatanggap natin. Otherwise, kapag sobra o sobra yun, nagkakaroon tayo ng self-interest at saka intimidation threat. Paano kapag overdue na yung fees from a client? Okay? So, may ang tendency niyan, hindi nakakabayad si client. Bigyan nga natin ng pangit na opinion yung kanyang audit report. Okay? So, self-interest threat yun. Okay? Kasi pinapangunahan ka na nung interest mo against your client. Okay? Gifts and hospitality. Ayan. Self-interest and familiarity threat. What else? Yung paano kapag merong litigation between the audit team at saka audit client. Ano yung threats na lumalabas dyan? It's self-interest because yung pangalan ng company mo is affected. Intimidation kasi napipressure ka, syempre ayaw nating makasuhan tayo, di ba? So, ang mangyayari, susunod ka na lang dun sa audit team mo, which is hindi pwede. Okay? Next. Saan na tayo? Okay. Assertion-based assurance engagement. So, pag sinabi natin assertion-based is, ano nga ba yun? The responsible party evaluates and measures the subject matter and information or form an assertion by the responsible party that is made or available to the intended user. So, pag assertion-based engagement po pinag-uusapan natin, you are investigating. So, kasama po sa assertion-based, nagbibigay ka ng opinion. Okay, kasama dito yung auditing. Okay? Direct reporting and assurance engagement. So, ano naman ito? The professional accountant in public practice performs the evaluation or measurement of a particular subject matter. Okay? Pero, yung report niya, directly ipoprovide doon sa management. Okay? Directly sa management. Next. Part C is for professional accountants in business or those in the commerce and industry. Okay. So, A professional accountant in business, sino-sino ba to? A senior position within an organization has the responsibility to further the legitimate aims of the accountant's employing organization, shall not knowingly engage in any business, occupation, or activity that impairs or might impair the integrity, objectivity, and good reputation of the profession. Okay. So, potential conflicts kapag ikaw ay nag-work as executive ng isang company. Ikaw yung VP for finance, ikaw yung controller, or accounting manager. Okay, so potential conflicts. Ano ba yung mga potential conflicts natin dito? So, papasok din actually dito yung different types ng threats. Okay? Saan na yun? Wait lang. Okay. So, papasok din dito yung different types. Balik tayo sa conflict. Okay. Yung self-interest, self-review, advocacy, familiarity, at intimidation. Okay? Again, yung mga threats na yon are being mitigated by your safeguards that are in place. Okay, so punta naman tayo sa potential conflicts. Ano bang kailangan natin i-discuss dito? Again, para maiwasan natin yung conflicts, we have to know kung ano yung nasa standards, which is number 1, kapag ikaw ay nagtatrabaho as executive ng isang company, hindi ka pwedeng nag-work din sa competing companies, okay? Because you are creating another conflict about that. Okay. Next, preparation and reporting of information. So we have to prepare information as fairly, as honestly as possible. Diba natutunan ninyo sa conceptual framework yung fundamental, ano na yun, meron yung enhancing qualitative characteristics at saka yung fundamental characteristics ng isang financial statement. So, you have to be yung timeliness, yung understandability, ano pa ba yan? Ano yung letter C? Dali. V is verifiability at saka C is, kalimutan ko na yung C. Ayun. So, dapat i-observe ninyo yung enhancing qualitative characteristics at saka yung fundamental qualitative characteristics. Acting with sufficient expertise. Okay. So, dapat number 1, CPA ka. Lalo na pag pumipirma ka ng financial statements ng isang company. Ngayon, ang accountants na pumipirma sa financial statements ng isang entity that is registered sa Philippines, kailangan meron silang Securities and Exchange Commission certificate na sila yung authorized signatory ng particular business. Okay? Next is financial interest. So, professional accountants may have financial interest that or may knowingly know a financial interest of their close family members. Okay? So, kunwari yung asawa mo ay ano pala, director nung kabilang company, yung competing company mo. So, you have to disclose that with your employer. Okay? Employer kasi employed sila sa private companies eh. Okay. Yan. So, receiving offers at saka making offers. Receiving offers, iniiwasan natin yan kasi may possibility na makonsider yan as self-interest threat. Okay? Ganon din yung making offers na hamper yung judgment or decision-making capacity natin as accountants. Okay? So, I think that's it for your Code of Professional Ethics for Accountants.